Hello, hello, hello. How y'all doing, Facebook? I love y'all. And I know that there's a lot of people going through things right now that's weighing them down, tearing them up inside and out. But there's this reaction that we have when people ask us, are we okay? Are we doing all right? Or how we doing? It's just like a standard reaction where we say, I'm good, or I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm straight, and I don't see it. I don't see it. Most of us are not good. Most of us are not good. So, and I want y'all to participate. Leave comments if I leave anything out because I want to talk. Because a couple of my Facebook friends this week were making posts that were borderline suicidal, feeling that it would be better if they were not alive. And most of us are taught that don't don't share what you're going through with other people. Don't let people know what you're going through. And I'm glad that let us let they let people know what they were going through because by doing so, there were so many people leaving comments and inboxing those people, encouraging things and people that you wouldn't expect to be leaving godly advice to people. And I'm quite sure that they were able to see that people are willing to be there for you. And man, we've been taught not to have no new friends. We've been taught keep a small circle. We've been taught that people will talk about you if you tell them what you're going through, and people will talk about you if you talk about what you're going through. I mean, it's been told to us that people's going to slander people's names, but the thing is to not be ashamed of what you're going through. Everybody is going through something, man. Everybody is going through something, and most of us in a position where we're not good, but that's what we have to tell each other when we ask each other what we're going through. We got to say, I'm good, I'm straight, I'm fine, but things are deteriorating around us. We got people dealing with family members that they've lost that they could never imagine losing. There are people who've gotten married where their spouse has died at an age that they didn't expect them to die, and now they're alone, and where they thought that they would have a long life with that person. We got people dealing with all kind of issues out here, and so many people talk about people, but we don't know who is the victim in these situations. We don't know we don't know the whole story to be able to pick a side in these situations, but we quick to pick a side and we quick to talk and not be considerate to what other people are going through. Man, it's so much stuff out here. It's like people are dealing with issues on their jobs, trying to work and trying to have stuff, and the job doesn't really care about them or their well-being. And if you hurt yourself on the job, they'll just replace you. So you giving all you got to a organization that don't really care about you, because out here we are all imperfect people, but we lack the patience to deal with imperfect people. So we feel like we cannot. We feel like we can't see eye to eye with what the next person going through, and it's our job to bear one another's burdens. It's our job to help each other get through the things that we go through, because we all drowning in issues out here daily, and don't know which way to go with these situations. You got females out here that um, that try to be so beautiful and always be so beautiful and feel like that they can have any man they want, or whoever they want, or they could have someone else's man if they want to have someone else's man, and they could do. They say they could get a man to do anything, but they can't get him to come home on time for dinner. You know, it comes a time where you feel like, yeah, I could have any person I want, but in the back of these same women mind, they still got to wonder whether they could get a man to last forever or to commit their forever to them. In the back of their head, they still don't know if they're going to be successful in a relationship that lasts. So we look at these people talk and we look at these people post all of this glamorous stuff and think that they're living a life that we want to live, but they're drowning in their own problems and sorrows and tears themselves. But they're the ones being publicized, man. It's been women who seen females exploiting their bodies and posting all of these explicit stories and having members only pages and fans only pages and thought that that was a bad thing. But over time, just watching them feel look like they're having so much fun and look like they're getting all the attention and they're not getting the attention as some of these same females that thought that it was a bad thing that these women were exploiting their bodies started to sneak in and join in and participate in those things because they didn't want to feel like they wasn't getting any attention, you know. And we quick to say we good. How we good when we living like this, man? How we good? And how can we say we're all right and we're straight and we're dealing with issues like this? I mean, even as a man, it's even worse. You know, you got so many people that be like, if you're a woman and you're in an abusive relationship, leave that relationship. And you don't, and they be like, okay, a man should never hit a woman, but they don't know sometimes the woman is the abuser. Nobody's speaking up for the man, and everybody want to take her side in a situation, but it's not always like this. It's not always for it because there is a relationship and a reaction. Sometimes these people disagree with anything you say or make anything you say sound like a bad idea and talk and say some of the worst things to you. Some of the things that'll make you feel like it don't matter who say that. If anybody come at me like this, they should have to fight. It should not be to where you could say whatever you want to say and then pull a card and say, oh, you can't hit me because I'm a woman. It's a lot of men being abused, and then you got men and women taking the side of the woman in the case, and nobody acts like they know what the man go through. Sometimes the man is going through things too, and the man is taught not to let nobody know what he goes through. He is taught to go through it alone, and then in that situation, you start to feel alienated. You started to feel like nobody understands you. You feel like, is it me tripping or is it someone else tripping? Because we don't sit here and talk about our issues one with another, but we should be helping one another deal with the things that we go through because there's people breaking down for every reason up under the sun. You know, you got people that look at people and say, okay, she killed her newborn child. How could you do that? But you don't know if she'd have been a victim in a situation where somebody made a bunch of false promises to her and where she had believed in someone. And then when she sees the baby, all she could see is the broken promises and the failure, the letdown. And you don't know what these people are dealing with. People are dealing with so much, man. You have people dealing with issues with money and not being able to accumulate the money to pay bills. You got families where the fathers of the children are dying, and then you have children with their father and other children without their father. And when that child goes with their father or whatever, you got to explain to the child why they never get to go. I mean, there's so many issues out here, and if we don't start trying to help and pick up one another, man, it's such a false statement to say that I'm good. It's such a false statement to say don't let people know what you're going through. Yeah, some people going to talk about you, but nobody can help you if they don't know what you're going through. The Bible instructs us to bear one another burdens, but how can we bear one another burdens when can't nobody let us each other know what we're going through? We always just want to say we're going through some things. Can't that be enough? Or I don't want to say what I'm going through, but could you just pray for me? And you really, after the prayer, it's no help to be got for you because don't nobody know what area in your life is falling apart to be able to help you with it. And as I wanted to do this message, man, I had so many things, just thinking about so many things that people go through day in and day out. And it's so much. And when I get ready to do the video, it's like it's a blank. It's like I can't figure out all of these things to say to you guys, but I want it to be open. I want you to participate and comment. And if I leave anything out, if it's something that people going through on a daily basis that people don't want to let out, and I didn't get it out in this message, add to it in the comments, man. Add to it because it's so many reasons that people breaking down. People are trying to become rich and trying to become rich, and you get to see their stories and you get to look at how they living, and you think it's so glamorous. You think it's so glamorous, but it's so many restless nights in trying to be rich. It's so many nights where you're on the phone trying to work out problems and trying to work out wrinkles and almost giving up and almost breaking down. But all you see people broadcast is the glamorous part of it, and you think that this is something you want to reach for, but it doesn't mean that it's something you need to reach for, because you're going to be drowning in the same problems that they're drowning in. But when we talk, we always show one side of the story. We don't show enough of the story for people to be able to see that we having a human experience, man. We having a human experience, and it's serious. It's serious because, man, people are contemplating suicide. It's just like when you eat. If you keep on eating and eating and eating and you don't have a bowel movement, your stomach will explode. If you keep on going through issues and issues and issues with life, and you just find ways to cover it up and find ways to not think about those issues don't go away. They're just going to accumulate one on top of the other until you break down and you burst and you don't know how to deal with the issues of life. The issues of life, man. I know sometimes you see me do do ministries, and you probably think, okay, he's trying to sound so educated. I'm not trying to sound educated. I'm not trying to sound like I'm on a pedestal over you. I'm one of you. I'm just like you. I deal with issues, but I found someone who gives me answers. I found out my creator wants me to know the answers and how to deal with this, how not to let these things affect me and to weigh me down the way that they affect and weigh people down around me. And now that I found it and freed myself of all of these burdens and all of these things that had me feel like I was drowning, I just want to help somebody. But it's hard to help people because people feel like I can't let you know what I'm going through, and we can't let people know what we're going through. So I could see people dealing with issues and want to, send them an inbox or send them some encouraging words or send them some advice. But, it's hard to even break the barrier of people that don't want you to know what they're going through, that don't want you to respond to what they're going through, that feel ashamed that you even know about it, you know. So, and it's growing in females, man. Suicide has always been high in males, but to see females dealing with these type of issues is tough, man. And to be a man trying to go into an inbox and give advice to a female, man, it's so easily could be taken to the wrong way because of the mind of this generation is so wicked and so lustful. People can't tell when people got good intentions or underlying attention. So, man, I wish it was a way for us to communicate and be more intimate with each other with what we're going through, man. I would never talk nobody business like that, man. Anything that comes to me is to be exclusive between you and me, because the only thing that matters is people that get the help that they need. And we all dealing with issues, man. You got you got families, children, you know, we got people that think they good parents because they teaching their kids and their kids got good grades and they take their kids places. But, school is going to teach your kids what they feel they need to know to push the country in the direction that the country feels it needs to go. Just like when we were kids, they started putting computers in front of our face, because these different countries are in competition with trying to stay up to date and superior in knowledge and inventions to the other countries. So when we was growing up, they put us in front of computers because they wanted us to grow more computer technologically advanced than other countries. So they put us in front of computers, and they taught us everything that we needed to know so we could contribute to society and grow our country in a direction that it needed to go. But that don't do anything for moral values. That don't do anything for teaching your kids how to encounter the things that they're going to encounter in life. That don't do excuse me. That don't do anything for the kids as far as knowing how it's going to be dealing with friendships and how friends become friends with other people, and it'll change your friendship with that person, and how to deal with imperfect people when your friends start to hang with other friends and not hang with you, or how to deal with people lying to you and stealing to you, how to deal with people elevating over you in the things that you should be excelling in, and just how to be honest, how to be loving, how to deal with people, man. We have such a low tolerance for people. When we see people coming to our door, we'll be in a hurry to shut our door like, oh, they walking down the street, they want to talk to me. We don't have a tolerance to be able to communicate with each other. And when we do communicate with each other, we're not communicating the true things. I'm tired of seeing people break down and to have the perfect advice or the perfect counsel, to be able to help these people through their situations and not be able to even help them because it would have to expose that there was a problem to begin with. Man, I serve a God that want to help us through these situations and want to show us how to deal with life being the way that it is, how it is out here, man. Sometimes I'm at a loss for words. Without you guys' participation, without you guys' communication, man, it's a limit to what can be done. It's the same way with God. God says, "Come to me who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." But we don't want to be intimate with our problems, even with Him, for Him to work them out. We have so many people that feel like you reaching out for something that somebody else is doing because they can make it look good, but it's not always good, man. You got men who have been in relationships that made them feel like they never want to have that experience again, and we look at them like they players, like they mess with all the girls, they got all the girls, but really they had a bad experience in a relationship and they scared to death. They scared to death to be in a solitary relationship again. I know men who done went to jail for putting their hands on a female, but they wasn't abusive men. But just that experience alone, they come out and they don't want to be solitary one female, and they start messing with all these females. But with the way they can make it look good with their stories and their pictures and the way they broadcast that you want to be one of them. But you don't know what the pain and stuff they go through, because even a man got to realize that I could be getting old. I could get in a car accident tomorrow. I could have a stroke. I could have a heart attack and can't perform the way that I been able to perform, and who gonna be there for me in them times, because time and chance happen to anybody. Anybody could get in a situation where what made them think that they were top notch could be gone tomorrow. And then what time have you invested? What have you invested for somebody to be able to say it doesn't matter? It doesn't matter. We so quick to sell ourselves short on the things we should not be selling ourselves short of, and suffering from the issues that come with what we done, and trying to go through it and trying to figure out life alone. And it's not the way it should be, man. We should be talking to one another, because we will find out that the issues that we deal with are coming between one another. It's not too many things. It doesn't matter about your status. You have people that have money and still suicidal. It doesn't matter. We all go home to the same problems. We all have the same issues at the end of the day. And if we can't communicate these things, if you can't communicate it, you got to hide, you got to try to hide the fact that you're going through these things, then you are alone, and nobody can help you with it. Nobody can. And thank God that those that I read about in the Bible didn't feel that way, because there would be nobody in the Bible that I could relate to. If David never told how he transgressed against God and wanted that woman so bad that he killed that man to have her, and how God punished him by killing his son, but still had redemption in the plan for him. If I could just imagine Hosea and Gomer, it was a prophet that God wanted to express something that he felt, but he had to put him in a position to feel it, to tell it how God felt. He had to feel how God felt before he told how God felt. So God told him to marry a promiscuous woman, and this promiscuous woman, she had a baby by him, and then she had a baby that he didn't know was his, and the name reflected that, and then she went off into become a sex slave, and then he had to go buy her out of slavery, and the last child was not his people, and the name meant not my people. And I could just imagine them being in today's situation. I could just imagine a woman being with a man who's telling a business like this, like Don't be telling my business. They don't need to know what we going through. They don't need to know my business. That's the type of situation in life we live in today. But that wouldn't even be a scripture for us to be leaning on to find out how to make it out of our situations and to connect with God. If there were people who felt like we felt, then you just can't let people know, and we just gotta hide what we going through from other people, man. I praise God that these people that were contemplating suicide this weekend, that felt like that they didn't want to live no more, told how they felt on Facebook. So therefore, people could be there for them. People could uphold them. People could uplift them and encourage them and give them some sound advice, man. We all dealing with some things. And the thing is, the answer to it is something that we all run from. If we knew that the answers to all of these situations came from God, and a lot of people don't want to even hear about God. So that would turn them off automatic. But when you really, 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 really need help with something, it don't matter what the answer is. All you need is a solution. And that's the type of people that I'm looking for, because those are the type of people that could help, man. It's time to quit hiding what we're going through and who we are and what we into from each other, because it's going to be a dark road. It's going to be a dark path, and it's impossible to feel alone. It's impossible, even with what you post on Facebook or what you cool with people knowing about you and what you cool with people seeing about you. It's impossible not to go to your room at night alone and feel like nobody know me. It's because you haven't let anybody know you. It's because you haven't let anybody know you, and we can't live like that, man. I know I left so many things out that I really wanted to say, but I hope you guys participate and leave a comment and add to some of these things that people go through every day, because it's all around. Dealing with family. Family is some of the most impressionable people on you, because everything everybody say about you don't affect you. But it's people that you let into that intimate space. When they start to speak on you, it starts to affect you, and on a way deeper level than just the average person walking down the street talking to you. And it matters what those voices say that are around you. It matters what they encourage you to do. It matters what they say about you. And we spend all our time trying to love on the people that we love on. And in our times of need, they're not the people that could help us. We have to love on everybody, because we'll build bridges that we don't see. And when you're looking for those people that you feed so much energy in to be there for you, you won't have to do it, because it'll be somebody you did something for, you don't even remember doing it, that'll be there for you. But as long as you only keeping a handful of people that you're willing to do anything for, those people the ones gonna fail you. The only reason why they're around you 24/7 is because they benefit off of you. If it was somebody that you was to benefit off of, they couldn't be around you like that. You would have to go and be around them, because they busy. They got things that they do with their time. They're occupying their time. So to say that we not making no new friends, and to keep saying I'm good every time somebody say, are you doing okay? Or what's wrong with you? Saying, oh, I'm straight and I'm good, when you're breaking down, man, you restricting people from being able to tell you something, or being able to be there for you in your time of need. And I hope we open our eyes to these things, man. I'm not always just trying to teach and sound smart, but I do want to be effective, man. None of this makes any difference, whether I could sound educated or whether I sound uneducated, or whether I could break down the Bible like this, or whether I could make it sound like something, just sound like a common person to you, man. If it's not effective, if it's not touching anybody, if it's not reaching anybody, if it's not getting to anybody, if it's not making a change in anybody, man, I love y'all. Man, if anybody going through anything or feel like they need to talk to somebody that's not going to go talk and spread their business, you could talk to me if nobody else. But we got to quit being so secluded that we don't talk about what we're going through with each other, because this is what makes people explode and blow up. We look at situations and say, hey, man, a man killed the kids, himself, the wife, and everybody, and think that it was just his fault, and don't know what he going through and what he was going through. We can't judge and say whether he was going to heaven or hell. I know we like to say we can know these things, but we can't know these things. We can't know these things. Samson did the same thing, and God was still with Samson. I know we like to say, hey, you remarried, it's no, because God talked to the woman at the well with 5 kids. with 5 husbands. You know, we can't count people out. Only people could actually effectively evaluate themselves. We can't evaluate other people because we don't know the intimate details and the situations. A lot of the things that happen in between people are because of something that was relational. Both parties had something to do with it. We don't know which party had the weight. We just look at situations and think that we could just determine and judge who was the victim and who was the victimizer. But sometimes the victimizer is the victim. You know, we have men that are abusive, that are not abusive, but they dealing with women that just talk and argue and fuss and combat everything that you're doing. And when a man feel powerless and weakless, because what you're doing is breaking this man down. When he feel powerless and weakless, all he have is his strength left. So how do you know that this man is not backed in the corner? Sometimes the victimizer is also a victim. Sometimes the victimizer is also a victim. We don't know what these people go through, but we got to start talking and being intimate with one another so we can help each other through these problems, because there are ways through these problems. Because that same man could make it up in his head that I don't care, ain't nobody coming at me like that, and he ain't taking that noise from no other female ever, and then he get with another woman who is suffering with the consequences of something that she didn't create. So now she the victim and he the victimizer. So we don't know how these things come about. We got people dealing with being molested as children who you see them molest a child, but sometimes in their head they don't even really know it's wrong. We don't know how to judge these people. We just dealing with a lot of people that need help. That's what we're dealing with, a lot of people that need help. But when you're trying to stand over somebody and look superior to somebody, you can't help them. You can't help them. They got to be able to see eye to eye with you, because they got to let you tell them something that they got to turn around and tell themselves. And they're not going to do that if they put up walls against you. If you come at a person in a way that they just put up walls and put up walls and put up walls, it's going to be no way to get to that place that where you could be effective and help. So I love you guys, man, and I hope this video helped. I love y'all. I'll talk to you later.